Welcome to Event Explorer. My name is Daniel Roth, and I am your host for this podcast where we uncover the behind-the-scenes stories of the world's best events. Recently, we've journeyed into the magic of winter festivals, starting with Aspen's Winter Skull, a celebration of art, snow, skiing, and community, and continuing on to the Portland Winter Light Festival, where creativity and illumination transform the cityscape. We've seen these events prove that winter isn't just a season to endure. It's a time for celebration, lighting up the night, and getting out into the crowds. So if you haven't listened to those, make sure you check them out. Now today, we are continuing that journey, and we are traveling to Providence, Rhode Island to visit Lumina. More than just a festival of light, Lumina is a shining example of how public-private partnerships can revitalize a city, creating culture, boosting local business, and drawing people together even in the heart of winter. Our guest is Nora Barre, Executive Director of the Downtown Providence Park Network, who shares how her team is reimagining public spaces and turning February into a beacon of light, warmth, and connection. Stick around as we explore the brilliance of Lumina, and don't forget, follow Event Explorer wherever you listen to podcasts and share this episode with someone who loves discovering the magic of events like these. All right, let's go to Providence, Rhode Island and talk to Nora. Today on Event Explorer, we are shining a light on one of Providence, Rhode Island's most vibrant events, Lumina, which runs February 1st through 17th this year. Our guest is Nora Barre, the visionary executive director of the Downtown Providence Park Network. Nora has been instrumental in bringing this dazzling festival to life, blending art, light, and community in a way that reflects the spirit of Providence amazingly. Nora, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is a treat to have you here. I've watched your interviews. I've seen all the work that you're doing. I mean, you bring such energy and life to the role that you have with Providence, which obviously affects, everyone that lives in the city, all the visitors. I mean, you touch the lives of so many people. Are you from Providence originally? Is this home?
No, no, no. So it's my adopted home. I'm actually, if we want to go back, we can really go back. I'm Syrian originally and immigrated here, not to Providence directly, but had lived in various places. But in 2012, work brought us here. And my husband and I just fell in love with Providence. And, it's kind of funny because, I came from a country that is, kind of a dictatorship, not anymore at this point, but hopefully.
Sure.
But, and I thought, Providence is where, Roger Williams came and really advocated for everyone to just worship and be who they are and be accepted. And we just felt like we belong here. Like, what could be so bad about a name like Providence? And
How
I
cool,
never
yeah.
wanted to leave.
I see. Interesting. So the founding father ethos really does live through to Providence today. You found that in your move in your daily life.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like we really in Rhode Island need to play on the part that the Tea Party happened in Boston, right? And that's how we overthrew the crown. But really, a year prior to that, something called the Gatsby Days happened. And this is the neighborhood I live in. It's called Patuxent Village. And the first shot against the English crown happened here in this village. And they celebrate, also, there's a whole affair that celebrates this historical moment every single year. I guess, just very quickly, what happened was an English ship was in the water. And the locals living in the village were like, "You're not going to tax us anymore." So they were sitting at a bar in an area that still exists. And they're like, "We're going to go out in a small little rowboat and, capture the captain and catch them off guard." So they went out and did that. And that really kind of started the American Revolution. Not a lot of people
Amazing.
do that because Massachusetts was just better at marketing than we are. So, but that was like the first shot against the crown that happened. And they captured the captain, imprisoned him, burned the ship down. And so this cute little village by the water, it's like a fishing village. They every year they replicate that ship and burn it down in the festival every single year. So
I love that. Well, we found through a lot of interviews and people, all over the country that that the burning of something, is so symbolic, and it allows, maybe it's celebrating a year starting fresh. So I love that Providence has their own version of this.
Yeah.
Yes, Boston may have better marketing, but they don't have Nora, and I think you're kind of changing the tide maybe a little bit for Providence, you and your team.
I hope so.
So now you're with the Parks Network, which is in service to the citizens and visitors of Providence. We're here talking about events today, but what is the broader scope of your role and what your team does?
Of course. So there's a downtown Providence Park loop that connects all these various urban spaces downtown Providence. And it's about a 20-acre span. And there are different owners that own that physically. It's the city, the state, university, Brown University, RISD University. So, a group of downtown stakeholders came together and they said, we need to create a nonprofit that just activates the space, gives it cohesiveness, and brings more vibrancy downtown because there's a lot happening. There's a lot of, we are the capital city, the artistic city. Like everyone, we have a lot of artists that graduate from RISD and local artists that come and we have a lot of creativity. And so that's how it was created. And a lot of the university partners came together, the city, and created this organization to do these things, to bring vibrancy, to partner, to convene partners, to make sure the calendar is, full, so that people don't even have to look uh, for events happening. They can just come downtown and really enjoy what's going on. And so that's what our role is. We convene partners to activate and steward the Downtown Providence Park Network because that's what brings the business surrounding businesses, events and regular activations and programming. It improves quality of life and brings foot traffic and the sense of safety downtown. All these really good things for a small urban city. Not small,
Yeah.
medium size. We're medium size.
Yeah, Providence, it's a cool city. I think, yeah, the RISD influence, Rhode Island School of Design is definitely there, but the history is alive. It's got, culture, it's got a little bit of grit to it. It's got that kind of Eastern seaboard city. I've really enjoyed the time I've spent in Providence. So what you're doing, I think, brings people out of doors and allows people to connect. You were talking about the calendar throughout the year. I know we're going to talk Lumina, which is kind of the new but shining kind of crown jewel of what you're doing. How do you fill that calendar throughout the year? And are these all events, or how do events kind of play a role there?
Oh yeah. So what we do is, we're always looking for grants. We're a nonprofit. So we're always seeing what's out there, what's available, and we're opportunistic and we try to be really nimble and we'll see what's available. We like, okay, oh, we could do this. Like, we could use this grant for a summer concert series. We could use this grant. Like, we were working on this wayfinding grant because these parks don't look cohesive to folks that are using them for pedestrians. And so we received a grant. And in the spring, we're going to be working on this wayfinding with lamppost banners and integrating software and kind of an integrative map for people to use throughout throughout the park system to just tie everything together. So, it's like we're very opportunistic. So every time we see a grant, we're like, okay, what could we do with this to bring light and to bring just positive things to Providence? And that's what we do. So we partner. We have amazing partners that you have some established events that we convene together and kind of plan them together and they become they've been really successful because of all the collaborations and partnerships together. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, that was kind of a tangent there, but yeah. Yeah.
Throughout the calendar year, how many events are you producing? What are some of the major ones?
So Lumina is definitely our signature event. We just in November did we partnered with the Splendor of Florence and did this really big Italian festival called Sotto Aqua underwater. Florence and Providence signed a friendship pact 25 years ago. And because they both underwent really a disaster flood in different ways, but we worked with the Brown University department, Italian department, and we brought opera singers from Italy. We had a lot of discussions on the changing, environment, what tools we could do to prevent the next big flood because we're both Providence, if you look it up, we had a really, really big flood in the 60s and it really affected downtown. So we after that, some really good things came out of it, which was the hurricane barrier that will go down when a certain, if there's a big storm coming or it's triggered to shut, so that prevents that kind of thing to happen from happening again. But a lot of people didn't know about that. So we worked with Save the Bay and did boat, rides and free trips to go look at this hurricane barriers within the Narragansett Bay. And it was so we had a pop-up restaurant. It was a great way to activate a vacant space downtown. There's a really historic building that was vacant, and we had a pop-up Italian restaurants with local Italian chefs, and then a chef that came from Florence, and they worked together and had a menu, and it was so popular and busy, and it brought about 10,000 people to downtown during the 10 days it was happening. We had over 50 events. Some of them were ancillary, some of them we planned. And a lot of the businesses downtown saw a big impact. Like I think sales increased by 45% on the weekends and then about 25% during the week. And so it was, that all of it ties together. That
Yeah.
was the point of that.
That festival sounds amazing. I mean, I love the confluence of kind of, yeah, it's a party, but we're talking about serious subjects as well. I'm thinking of if it's relevant or you hate it or what, but like the Parks and Rec show and people are
Yes.
it's this softer, unimportant, and you're like, "No, no, we can bring the attention and we can create these spaces that are so viable and valuable to the city that provide such a service." And it's cool. I mean, you've already talked about, how you present the history and culture of the city, how you're bringing in international influence. And I love that events played a big part of that. You think that's something you'll repeat?
Oh, this was their Florence? Yes, I think, there's something in the works with the producer of it, Joyce, that she's planning now to do something in Italy, in Florence, to, kind of have now artisans from Providence going to Florence and to create the event there to share it with the Italian, community and the, Florentine, um,
Amazing.
culture. Yeah, I think it was amazing. We even brought, like, artists, from Florence that did a lot of art workshops here, and people signed up for them. It was so unique, and it just shows you how the world we're all connected
Yeah.
together, and working together is such a positive thing for all of us and
Mhm,
learning from
mhm.
each other.
The events world needs a lot of collaboration, and it sounds
Yeah.
like you with the full calendar, I'm sure people appreciated filling in the space with Lumina too, but is there a strong kind of events business and, festival business, now because of all these different events throughout, Providence throughout the year?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think it puts Providence, we're kind of a hidden secret in some ways that
Mhm.
we love to shine a light. We have a great food scene here. We have a culinary school, Johnson Wales University, and produces amazing chefs. So the culinary scene is off the hook. And Go Providence is planning this huge culinary festival that's coming up in the spring. Um, so I think all of the partners, the Department of Art, Culture, and Tourism with the city, they put on this huge festival in September. It's called PVD Fest, and it is just phenomenal. And it draws hundreds of thousands. I mean, it draws I think 100
Mhm.
over 100,000 people last year. And it just showcases like all the different local artists and food that we have. It is such a cool festival. And I think the Avenue Concept is an incredible organization that does public art all over the city. It is just like all these different organizations are putting on and working so hard to um, just show off Providence and show off what we got and enjoy it and improves the quality of life and it brings people to the city and it's just lovely and it's inspiring. I find all these organizations that come together to, to activate and plan these events because it's really hard planning events in public spaces, as you know. But I really draw a lot of inspirations from all of those my colleagues and leaders in the community that put those together.
Amazing. Sounds like you have this network, this kind of ecosystem of really creative people, doers, people that
Yes.
that get out of their office and get onto the streets and build things. And they inspired you and your team to create Lumina. So this
Yes.
is we're now just the second year, but the first year was a smashing success, as I can see. Take me back to the process of getting that started and where the inspiration kind of came from.
Yeah, so I we lived my family and I lived in Montreal. My husband for a while, due to my husband's Canadian and did some work in Montreal, and it always inspired me. Like, you know, people, no matter how cold it is, Canadians are always bundled up and out and about and enjoying, you know, hot chocolates and enjoying life and it's funny because I was like, "What makes them do that?" I think a lot of it has probably been cultural, right? It's like it's cold, so you have to figure out how to manage with the cold and enjoy life. So they bundle up and do all these things. But there is uh, there is a district called the Entertainment District in Montreal, which is an entire area that is really has a lot of public art that's interactive. So I think that, I and an ice skating rink. And I thought like when we moved to Rhode Island, it really kind of, it slows down after the holidays. People are still visiting and there's a lot of like competitions and athletic things, but there's not a big event that draws folks necessarily. And we got together with our partners and we had this idea to reach out to this entertainment district called QDSI. And we received a grant from Commerce, Rhode Island, and we were able to rent some of this interactive public art, the interactive artwork that they have and bring it down to Providence. And so, we came up with the name Lumina because humans have been attracted to light since forever. And we thought, we'd bring light to the city and we would build a bit of a festival around that. So to showcase all our local artists as well. And so that's how it started last year. And, I didn't have a lot of expectations. We just wanted to put on the best festival we could. And I think there's something about too having something new every year because every year we decided we're going to have a theme and having a new installation to build all these other events around is really attractive. And so, there's something to say about having a rental, not being responsible for it after it's gone, right? Because it keeps it exciting. So
Mhm.
we brought prisms last year from QDSI, and we worked with Lemon Studios and brought these like really silly, huge banana benches people can sit on, and it was such a draw. It was amazing. And so this year we brought they QDSI has a book, if you will, of different things that you could look at and rent. And so we decided to bring Pop this year, which is which are these five puppets that pop out once you sing to them or talk to them, and they each have a name and they're super colorful and fun. So we decided the theme for this year, due to that, would be play. Come play downtown, come play at Lumina. And then we shortened it a bit. Last year it was a month. We have a very small team and it was really, 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 put a lot of pressure on us. So we condensed it to 2 weeks this year. Well, a little over 2 weeks. And then chose, we're doing on February 7th, February 8th, we have high activation weekend around these installations. In addition to the pop monsters that are puppets that we're bringing, we are also working with Lemon Studio and bringing two different pieces: these stationary bikes called Light Lane, and another set of called Harmonies, which is like like a very large violin and a boombox and a harpsichord. Oh, not harpsichord, is it a harpsichord? No, it's not. It's a harp, just a
Okay.
harp. Yeah, and a guitar, and it's just gonna be like it's gonna be amazing. And we're focusing it this time because we've got a loop in the downtown, and we thought like every year maybe we'll shift Lumina in different spaces to highlight different spaces, within the network. So this time we chose the heart of downtown, right in front of City Hall, right in front of a huge transit hub called Kennedy Plaza, where thousands of people transit every day to just give this, equity, look into an equity lens of providing activities right across the street so people are able to just cross over and enjoy this playful display and interactive public artwork.
Awesome. Your partner companies sound amazing that they can provide. It's not like, you can go shopping on Amazon for this stuff.
Yes, no,
It's
no, no.
stuff that's intended to make a festival in a very unique and artistic way, and I think it's so smart how you're integrating that, but I know there's also integrations from local Providence
Yeah.
vendors and artists kind of, so who are those local partners that are kind of filling out the rest of the event?
Yeah, of course. So Providence Tourism Council, they give out grants every year to a lot of organizations like us. And so this year we're inspired by the Portland Light Festival and how they put that together, and we wanted to start kind of seeding inspiration to create illuminated artwork. And so we received a grant from the Providence Tourism Council and put out a call for art and ask the artist. We put parameters. We want it to be illuminated. It needs to be interactive. Not all of them turned out to be interactive, but it needs to be interactive to a
Sure.
certain degree. This is the first year.
Mhm.
And we had a panel that went through and kind of chose about 8 pieces from local artists. And they're working on them, and we're doing some behind the scenes shots. And it's so exciting because we've seen a lot of like integration of different people working together to create something so beautiful. We've got like a really popular small business called Gather Glass, and they blow glass here, and it's so beautiful. So we have one of the artists that we chose, Jessica Ritchie, uh, got together with Gather Glass, and she's created this delicate um, lacy, kind of, piece that she's integrating with Gather Glass. So that's just like, and they're gonna illuminate it, and that's gonna be so beautiful. So I think this is just a little bit different than what's been done before. This call out for art because we want it to be centered around light. So
Mhm.
this year we've seeded that, and then we'd like to grow that every single year because we have really talented artists, and yeah, that's kind of what inspired us to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, and you're picking a good time of year to do it. It's dark early, so light art works, but also it's a bit of a downtime for festival artists. You're providing opportunity, which I can just see it. And your partners from Montreal, started in the same way. The city needs stuff. They need big stuff to entertain a lot of people. Who can do this? Well, we think we can. Give us a
Right.
shot
Right.
because you're not going to go in your backyard and just do that.
Right.
So that's the way this public private artistic partnership can create opportunity and create business, right?
Absolutely. Just one thing I'll tell when I mentioned, we have our electricians union, the IBEW here. And I just think that, I mean, we have a really strong union. And I thought, like, how can we, and I think it
Yeah.
happens already. So I don't want to say I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but how can we get artists and electricians together more to 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 do that, right? From the
Mhm.
union and the artists, and kind of create pieces, because maybe there's an idea, and there's some physics and electricity that needs to be hooked up, and the artist is not aware of how it could happen possibly, and they could make it happen. And I think that's just like a lovely kind of coming together of that. Um, there's like a national pandemic, loneliness pandemic, or that's happening in America after in the United States after COVID. And I think that creating humans have always been attracted to light. So that's nothing new. So creating this event around light and bringing people together when it's really dark out, there's a lot of talk of the seasonal mood disorders that happens. I think it's just great and lovely, and it brings positivity to be with your community, to be a part of a whole, and bring the city and enjoy, a lot of free activities. We're bringing a talented group called Ice Dance International to do a free ice skating performance We have local storytellers, a legend, Lynn Cabral, who travels all over the world and nationally to tell stories about his childhood. About he's a wonderful, wonderful storyteller that will be hosting. I think all these activities, and we're going to have sugar on snow for the first time this year. Having hot maple syrup, taffies so that Gather Glass and Gather Farm is doing for, working with us to make it happen. I think all those things and bringing people downtown during a time where maybe they want to bundle up and stay home wi- is a positive thing for the city. It's a positive thing for mental health, and it's a positive thing for the community. It's positive for the business community because all these light installations that we've commissioned through the call out for art, they're going to be installed at various businesses downtown. They're going to be the connective tissue to where the main installations are happening. And so we want to encourage people to walk together and eat and go to Symposium Books and look at the books and go to Ellie's next door and grab coffee. And um, we measure those economic impacts because that's what these festivals do, right? It's you get the grant and you then show the positive effects of it on the economy and downtown and vibrancy and putting more of a light on Providence and how amazing it is. So
You are doing such great work. The positivity shines through you about your adopted hometown. About I just can see in you all of the people you work with and the joy that they bring. And you're obviously your team um and then just how much fun people are having, all the great food, they're seeing things
yeah,
like that are blowing their mind in the winter in Providence. They
yes,
they had no idea what they were gonna do this weekend. They're down "Oh, Lumina sounds cool." They're downtown and they're, like, inspired, and they're taking Instagram selfies and posting and, "Look how cool my city is." Like, what an impact. What awesome work you're doing. I know you're in your 2nd year, it's already, gangbusters, but I know it's just gonna grow. I think especially with the art with the local art scene and working with the universities and things like that, like, this is one to watch for sure. I'll be watching out for this year, February 1st through the 17th.
right.
Major weekend is the 8th and 9th of
The
February,
seventh
right
and
up
eighth.
7th
Yeah,
and 8th, sorry.
yeah,
The major weekend is February 7th and 8th. I encourage anyone, Boston, from Portland, New Hampshire, come on down,
Connecticut, come on down.
Connecticut, everybody. So
Stay
you have to spread the
overnight.
word. Good, good. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's worth the trip. So, we'll be spreading the word here. I wanna thank you for joining, allowing us to visit Providence to learn so much more. You are a wealth of information and joy, so, thank you, and, we're gonna look forward to watching this and then talking to you in the future as you continue to make these amazing events.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Event Explorer. A huge thank you to Nora Barre for joining us and sharing the story behind Lumina and how it's lighting up Providence this winter. Nora, your passion for creating vibrant, inclusive, and impactful events is truly inspiring, and it's clear that Lumina is just the beginning of something extraordinary for the city of Providence. To our listeners, do not miss the chance to celebrate Lumina for yourself. The festival runs February 1st through the 17th, with its high-energy activation weekend on February 7th and 8th. Whether you're in Rhode Island or just a short drive away, this event is worth bundling up for. Come for the light installations, stay for the art, food, and unforgettable winter vibes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend who loves discovering unique events. Thanks for exploring with us. We'll see you next time in Event Explorer. Happy exploring.